Hello everybody and welcome to my review of volume number 1 of Nagaharu Hibihana's light novel series Mixed Bathing in Another Dimension. This one is released in English by J Novel Club. They have released 5 volumes up to this point, and actually that catches them up with Japan. The last volume was released in Japan in June of 2017, so it's been a little while, but the last I heard from the owner of J Novel Club, he stated that apparently the web novel is continuing on, so it looks like there is more material beyond the 5 volumes that exist. They just have not compiled it all and released a volume 6 yet. In this novel, we have main character Toya, who is your average 17-year-old Japanese male, and he is transported to another world. Shocking! Shocking! I'm amazed. He is actually summoned with 4 other people from various worlds, and they are brought to this land to fight a demon lord that is threatening to revive from its slumber, where it was put by, well, funny enough, another guy who was summoned from another world 500 years ago. Seems to be a thing with this world. We have problems with demon lords. We summon us somebody from another world and have them fix it for us. Now, people who are summoned from another world gain themselves a gift from the goddess of light. And, well, Toya discovers that his gift is interesting, maybe completely useless. It turns out to be that he can summon an unlimited bath. So what exactly are we talking about here? Well, most of you are anime fans. You know what it looks like when a typical Japanese family has a washroom in their house with, you know, the little shower and their tub and stuff. It's not really a huge thing, and you can only fit maybe 2 people in there. Yep, that is exactly what Toya can summon as his great gift from the goddess. Doesn't seem like much of a tool to fight demon lords with, but meh. You know, it still does provide something that you could, you know, I don't know, try and get cute girls naked in. And that, of course, plays into this because, I mean, mixed bathing. I mean, come on, like, the title pretty much says it all. So, in this volume, we have Toya basically trying to get started on his journey to grow and develop and, yeah, potentially try and take on a demon lord with bathwater. So he finds himself having to try and find followers and begins his first quest. Now, this novel, you know, I have some mixed feelings about this novel. Mixed feelings for a mixed bathing and another. Anyway, so couple of things. First off, let's just talk about the slightly negative bits and kind of get that out of the way. So the first thing about this is that Toya's character, for the most part, is a good kid. The problem I have, and I think it creates a little bit of what I would call emotional dissonance, is that on the one hand, he is a very typical 17-year-old boy. I mean, he likes girls. Well, okay, I should clarify, he is a heterosexual 17-year-old boy. He likes girls. He wants to get naked with girls. He doesn't want to get naked with dudes. His bath is, you know, kind of uncomfortable when you're naked with another dude, because it's not really big. So, I mean, like, on this one hand, I don't blame him for, you know, not really wanting to, like, have guys hop in the bath with him. Okay, I get it, you know, that's, you know, I was a heterosexual 17-year-old dude. I get it. It's cool. I think the biggest problem that I have, though, is that Toya talks about this whole idea of trying to find girls who will bathe with him, girls who will become his followers and his teammates, but one of his conditions is he wants them to be able to bathe with them. Like, it just sounds so creepy. And like the way he makes it sound like a mission and that it's conditional upon people teaming up with him. And you know, he tries to explain it away that, oh, it's just because I would feel really guilty because, you know, I can summon the bath anywhere. And so if we were in an uncomfortable environment, it would be really nice in the bath. But, you know, I don't want anybody in there unless they're girls. And yeah, like, now here's the thing. And when I say you're like, what's dissonant about this? Here's the thing. And this is actually a very good point about this book. Probably funny enough. I mean, given that this title is, I mean, in terms of the actual literal title of the book, is probably the closest thing we have to being an openly ecchi idea. This book is probably one of the few light novels that is nearly obsessed with consent, which is a good thing. Okay. I mean, it is something that I have talked about in other light novels about how, you know what, I don't mind ecchi elements so much, but I want there to be consent, and I want it to be consensual between people that are pretty much on equal power footing. And with Toya, there are instances where there are girls that offer to go into the bath with him for various reasons. And he goes out of his way, I mean, like out of his way, to almost convince them not to do it, because he is dead set that the only girls he wants coming into the bath with him are doing it because they truly want to, are doing it because they are eyes wide open, know about what's going to happen, and are okay with it. Consent is a big and very important thing to Toya. And I think that that is fantastic. I mean, it is funny that with a title, like I said, where it's, you know, mixed bathing in another dimension. I mean, like right from the title, you're like, okay, boobs and butts. And sure, there's lots of discussion of boobs and butts and ogling and stuff. But this first volume, I mean, it manages to sidestep a lot of the typical ecchi plays that we get in light novels. I mean, Toya never accidentally walks in on a girl naked. He doesn't accidentally fall on top of a naked girl. He doesn't accidentally grope a girl. Everything that happens that is somewhat ecchi and everything else is consensual and intentional. It doesn't try to play off assault or accidents as titillation, which is kind of really weird in a way, given that, like I said, I really expected this title was going to go all out on the whole ecchi bits. Like, I figured that it was going to be packed with, you know, accidental panty flashes and, you know, falling on top of girls, accidental gropings and everything. Like, I figured that's what it would be. Because, I mean, like I said, we see that in a ton of light novels. Not so much. Kind of surprising. And in a good way. Like I said, in a good way. It's good to see an author definitely still more than fill the quota of ecchi and, you know, naughty bits, but doing it in a way that is beyond the typical trope. The other thing that I actually really like about this book is that Toya is this really imaginative kid. I mean, he is like, okay, my ability pretty much stinks for fighting. You know, really, it does. But he comes up with all these imaginative ways to try and use it to better his situation, whether it be, you know, whether it be how he makes money, whether it be in terms of sort of aiding himself in his big quest that he goes on. Like, he is constantly thinking of ways that he can use this ability of his to his benefit and even to the benefit of others. I mean, like, one of the things that he does right away is, like, in his unlimited bath, it has shampoo and soap, and of course it's high quality soap and shampoo because, I mean, you know, he's using a gift of the goddess, right? And so he gifts these bottles of shampoo and soap and stuff to this one girl he becomes close with, who is also summoned from another world, and her followers, because he notices that her hair is starting to go dull and brittle and stuff like that. Like, it's funny that there's moments in this book where, you know, it's almost like Toya has like this hairdresser moment where he's all like, we need to apply the conditioner and we need to do this because your hair is starting to split. And it was really, I don't know. It was funny to me. I was like, okay, well, I mean, it's just such a different take on superpower as far as your isekai novels go. And as I said, the imagination put into how to use this gift in a way that is actually really useful. It isn't just, a vehicle for eshi bits. It actually serves a purpose. So, all in all, those bits I was really impressed by. The story itself, it's pretty paint by numbers. I mean, I'm summoned to another world to defeat a demon lord. The demon lord has agents who try to stop me. I need to fight them. End of book. I mean, it's really paint by numbers, this story. But it is just very interesting, like I said, how it sort of defies a lot of things. I mean, it's even interesting that Toya's relationship with this other girl that's summoned from Japan, that it is with her that his relationship seems to be really actually romantic. And on the other hand, that kind of makes the fact that he wants to bathe naked with other girls kind of even a little bit more creepy. And I don't understand why, really cute girls let a guy get away with saying stuff like that and still find him, you're nice. I think the problem is that Toya's maybe a little bit too honest. Like he is really honest. And I mean, in some cases it works really well. In fact, there are a lot of times where I read light novels or you watch anime or read manga and you're like, if you just came clean, you'd be fine. You're getting in trouble because you're tripping over yourself trying to cover up whatever, whether it's that because you had a perverted thought or whatever. And I mean, I do find it kind of funny how, I find it funny that it's like, I look at a 17-year-old guy who wants to hop in the bath with cute girls and I'm like, yep, that's normal. And yet light novels, it's like, you're a pervert. You're a pervert. And to my mind, I'm thinking, now, if he wanted to get in the bath and then do this, this, and this, then yeah, I agree. But I mean, just wanting to see girls naked and, kind of cuddle up to them and stuff like that seems kind of really average for a 17-year-old heterosexual male. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of a thing that I find in light novels is really funny. Like, they throw the word pervert around, like, a lot. And over stuff that I just think to myself, that's just kind of like... In North America, most people just roll their eyes and be like, you're such a guy. You're such a straight guy. But, cultural differences. In any case, Mixed Bathing in Another Dimension, volume number 1. So, kind of interesting in terms of how it takes an ability that sounds kind of useless outside of eshi bits and actually makes it interesting and useful. We have a main character who defies a lot of light novel standards and is a guy who actually will not take advantage of a girl to see her naked or whatever. In fact, is dead set against it. And even though it manages to have lots of fill of discussions and stuff of boobs and butts and has eshi bits and everything else, manages to do it all really in a fairly, what would I say, like a very consensual and somewhat benign way. It's not like the sort of questionable stuff that we get in a lot of other books. So I give this book really high praise for that. The story, like I said, it's really, really straight ahead story at this point. The world building isn't that big a deal. It even seems very paint by numbers. I mean, even like some of the other side characters, they're fine, but they're not, at this point, there's nothing to get excited about or say like, wow, this character was awesome. Like at this point, this first volume is very, very much like a setup. Setup of Toya, setup of what his power is, and setup that his power, while sounding useless on its first initial sort of encounter, actually could be used in useful ways. So, like I said, a little bit mixed feeling. Overall, though, I thought it was a lot better than I imagined it would be. I will be really honest. I have had this one sitting in my on my iPad for months and have kind of pushed it off because I kind of thought, I don't know whether I really want to read it. And like I said, it's one of those books where I felt a little guilty that I hadn't read it because I try to read at least one volume from all the series and I hadn't from that one. But, you know, some of you wonderful people sort of gave me a little push, so I decided to give it a shot. And all in all, it's actually kind of cute. I mean, like I said, it's definitely a slightly older crowd type book because, as I said, there is definitely lots of talk about nudity and body parts. And there is definitely some ecchi type elements. So it is still like aimed at pretty much at the age of the main character. So like you're talking about probably 16, 17 and up. So it is kind of aimed at that slightly older audience, even though I would say we're not talking Overlord type older audience, but you know, we're talking like later teens audience. So, and you know what? I'm going to say this. I'd be very interested to see what happens in later volumes, just whether this continues to be more of a vehicle for, you know, a bit of ecchi and stuff like that, or whether the world building and stuff actually starts becoming more of a thing, whether the story breaks out of the really by the numbers kind of story and starts introducing some more interesting elements. It seems funny to me that you would have a character with such a rather unique ability and who finds unique ways to use it and is yet inserted into such a not unique type world. I'd be very interested to see sort of how that progresses down the road. And at least, there's only 5 volumes right now, so I'm only 4 behind now. And with no word on when volume 6 is coming out in Japan, maybe I have some time to get caught up a little bit. I say as I look at my big pile of books that never seems to go down. Anyway, those are my thoughts on volume number 1 of Mixed Bathing in Another Dimension. My next read is going to be on volume number 1 of ReZero EX. This, of course, is the spin-off volume of ReZero. It's been sitting in my pile for a while, and I do love the main series. So with volume number 6 of the ReZero main series coming out this month, I figured it was probably a good time to pick this one up and give it a read. So that'll be my next review. So if you love light novels and you're brand new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. I do 2 to 3 reviews a week, plus do a weekly countdown of the top 10 best-selling light novels in Japan. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye for now.